Welcome to the Ride With Us podcast, a podcast dedicated to the Prescott Rodeo grounds and the world's oldest rodeo. Its histories, traditions, some storytelling, and all the events happening at the rodeo grounds. I'm your host, Greg Mingarelli. Thanks for joining in today. I have a guest today, Jason Owens, who is the office manager and recorder at the Prescott Frontier Days. Jason, welcome in. Thanks for being with us today.
Thank you very much. Glad to be here.
So, Jason, let's start kind of with your role at the rodeo. I want to do a lot of kind of back office stuff today. People don't really get to really understand or know the back office of really what it takes to put the rodeo on and all the events that happen year round. And you're a large part of that. You're busy year round. A lot of folks think, we just show up the day before the rodeo and work 7 days and pack it up and go home. But there's a lot that goes on at the rodeo so year round. So give us a little flavor of your job and kind of who you are and how long you've been there at the rodeo.
Okay. I'm liked by some and hated by others because I do cut the checks sometimes, get them ready for signatures, that sort of thing.
Well, I like that.
Those guys do like me. The ones that don't necessarily like me are when I'm tracking down receipts from our peoples and things like that. So I get to be the wet blanket, but sometimes I get to be the hero. So it's kind of nice. But I manage the office for the rodeo, which is open Monday through Friday, and we take care of rentals throughout the year. We have a great event managing coordinator that takes care of all that for us. And that does deal with contracts involved because we are part of the city as well as, utilizing the facilities for the city. And so we have a lot of equine events. We have just personal rentals, membership rentals, things like that go on. So we take care of a lot of those. That is, we have another manager that takes care of that, but there is invoicing, as you can imagine, involved with that, making sure that we're following up on payment, things like that. That's just one of the things. Managing tickets is a big deal for the rodeo specifically. And we this year started selling tickets on March 15th, leading into this rodeo. So, March 4th was when we started sales. And let's see. So managing the ticket office, making sure that there's people ready to answer the phones throughout the rest of the year, making sure that there's people that answer the phones so that we can address any concerns for the next upcoming rodeo or membership concerns, things like that. We have a membership base of around 300 to 350 people that meet monthly at minimum to address concerns or figure out how their groups are volunteering, how the different programs that we do go on. As you know, we do the parade as well as the dance and just all kinds of activities surrounding the rodeo. And it does take a lot of planning leading up into that for the year. So we have our membership activities they have to be organized, catered, sometimes a band involved to make sure it's entertaining enough. And, the membership do, I think, appreciate that on a monthly basis. We meet to cover just the basics and details of what's been going on. And then, of course, we meet a couple times a year just to celebrate those things. So,
there's a lot there, Jason. So this time of year, give folks an idea of what are you doing now to prepare for a rodeo July 1st? What are some of the things that are going on right now as you kind of ramp up for this year's rodeo?
In some cases, we have tickets that we print to give to either sponsors or groups that come and attend the rodeo. Groups like our old timers that come on a special day to have lunch and then come to the rodeo. And as you can imagine, the old timers are those that have competed in the past and are very dedicated to the world's oldest rodeo. And so having kind of souvenir style tickets ready for those groups that come, we are already scheduling the anthem singers, the sponsorships we're tidying up their contracts, finishing those out. And then, essentially looking for payment. So I send an invoice out and make sure they remember that they sponsor the world's oldest rodeo.
Yeah. So sponsors, we have well over 100 sponsors, right? Maybe even 130. I can't remember.
It seems to be growing by the day. I think we're about 137 to date.
Wow. That's kind of an interesting number this year.
Right.
137th rodeo.
Maybe I made that up. Yeah.
That number was in your head.
Yeah.
So yeah. And that is generating, I think 1.1 million, we might've just eclipsed on sponsorships.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Jason, you do a lot to just make sure, that folks, when they sit down, they have a great experience at the rodeo, all these things that are really unseen that they wouldn't know about. And we really appreciate what you do. Pretty much any invoices that roll through there go through your office, and a lot of other details that you keep track of, not just for the world's oldest rodeo, but all the other events that are happening there throughout the year. What really excites you about your job? What do you love the most about what you do? You're not front and center. You're behind the scenes, and you kind of like that. But what is it that you really enjoy about your job?
I've been a manager at many different places, and a lot of times manager can just mean a fancy name for you're going to do it all.
Right.
So I do like showing up to the office, and maybe I have some plans for the day, but I don't plan it too much where I don't get to be a little flexible and maybe learn something new. I'm excited about the different facets of rodeo that there are in business, because it's not just event planning. It's not just billing. It's not just payroll. It's not just, taking care of a membership group. It's all of those together and how they coordinate together and come together, because I'd like to think that many of us at the office are the glue that kind of puts that together.
Yep.
And so as well as we can work together to make that more efficient, more helpful, we hope that translates into the overall experience that anybody coming to the rodeo or the rodeo office during the year sees that we're looking for excellence, improving what we can do, making the experience just really good for them.
Yeah. Yeah, it is the entertainment business. Jim Dewey Brown always reminds us of that, and he does a great job of entertaining folks at the rodeo. How long you been at the rodeo?
So this is a little funny, but I was a contract laborer to start with. So I worked for a company outside of the rodeo, and they contracted me to basically just do the bookkeeping. Through the years, as transition happened in management, and I realized that this was my people. These are the folks that I do.
It was a test drive.
It was a test drive for probably 2 years, 2 of the 4 years that I've been there now. So to answer your question, 4 years, but now I'm full-time with the rodeo, which has opened up doors to other things like the turquoise circuit, the buckle club, things like that, and being able to assist where I can.
Yeah, you touch other events like the turquoise circuit finals rodeo that happens in November over in Camp Verde. So you're even doing a lot of the same kind of activities you do for us at our rodeo for that rodeo as well. So,
exactly. Yeah. Any way to improve the experience there too. We love rodeo.
So Jim Dewey Brown started the Junior Ambassador Program, and when he first mentioned he was going to do that, I didn't totally understand it. Honestly, I was not sure. I mean, I like the idea of bringing youth in, but tell our listeners a little bit more about the Junior Ambassador Program, what that is, and kind of what you've seen happen with some of the kids coming through there. Yeah.
So the goal is to bring students from junior to senior age in high school toward what it is like surrounding the entire rodeo. We oftentimes get them for maybe a month or two leading into rodeo because they're finishing school. Then they come to see what it's like to produce and set up and put on a rodeo. Very quickly do they probably understand that there is many pieces to it that you can get involved in. I happen to lean into the finance side of things during rodeo, which is the cash counting, the controls in place so that we're not, having money slip out the door, that type of thing. And and how to manage volunteers in that aspect, because we don't always pay everybody to handle cash even type of things. So for the junior ambassadors to see that there's different facets to rodeo, that they may, everybody wants to be in the arena, right?
Right.
So they get that experience, but they can also get the experience from the day to day, like I said, the bookkeeping, or how to plan out the fact that we have a anthem singer that's going to show up at 6:00 and she has to sing at 7:30, and she's got 12 guests with her that need tickets, and she may not have told us beforehand, or whatever it is. And I say any of the anthem singers that would ask for that, and taking care of all of those means to put on a great show, because if the anthem singer's happy, it starts to show off right.
Yeah. A lot of logistics with all that, a lot of moving parts and pieces. I've been to rodeos that kind of went long and kind of there was dead time and all that. And I will say that Jim runs a very tight ship.
Yes.
And people probably don't really understand that, because it is so smooth. There's no dead time.
Yep.
And we always hit our marks, but it makes for a much better experience. And there's a lot of logistics that go into that. It starts with Jim, but it's the folks out there that are executing that to make sure that everything goes off seamless. And, and I think it's about 2.5 hours he likes, or less.
That's the target. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the junior ambassadors also get to experience that firsthand with one of the more excellent rodeos in the country. And alongside of that program, they're getting themselves to earn scholarship money towards their schooling, towards their future schooling. And so the program itself is really designed to show them what it would be like if they did entertain the fact that they could run and produce a rodeo themselves. Yeah,
it's really kind of an introduction to that whole career if they wanted to go that direction.
Exactly.
And kind of better understand what it takes, and if they want to do that in the future. Yeah, very good. I love that program. We have some great kids in there. It's always good to have them. I've had a junior ambassador helping me at the Buckle Club, and it's a huge lift.
Yes.
when you're running fast during the rodeo, to have those kids around helping out. So I think it's a great program. At the rodeo, we love to give back to the community, and we have We Rodeo, We Give. Talk to our listeners a little bit about what that looks like for the rodeo, and the kind of things the rodeo does it back into the community, giving back.
Okay. There's a few events that we do. The Arizona Junior High School Rodeo is held on our campus, and it's not just discounting the facilities for their use, but also being able to provide awards in the name of PFD towards the all around. We have what they call an all around saddle for the cowboy and an all around saddle for the cowgirl. And so if they've competed in enough events that they can earn the all around title, then they get a saddle for that, which is branded with PFD, completely paid for by PFD to be given away. So things like that, that's the junior rodeo. We also do that for the Arizona High School Rodeo, which is a couple weeks later than the junior rodeo. And otherwise, we don't really think they could put something on in that sense, because they're again, heavily discounted to the facility rentals, things like that, so that we're covering the costs that would be involved. As you can imagine, electricity is expensive, and water, and everything that would be needed to have that many people descend on a facility, be able to have an event and then leave. All of the expenses that are incurred with that would obviously need to be covered, but anything above and beyond that is taken care of by PFD. So those are a couple of things that are local based. There's rodeo needs nationwide that come in as we hear things of cowboys going down or things like that. We've done fundraisers through Justin Cowboy Crisis Fund, is a good associate of ours that we tend to raise money for and give towards, because they have the means to be able to support those cowboys that have been injured for longer term, things like that. Let me think for a minute.
You can edit the space out.
Thank you. Yeah.
You talked about the Cowboy Crisis Fund. And Jim has started a fundraiser during the rodeo for the Cowboy Crisis Fund with whiskey, women, and wine.
Yes.
And I think we had 60 or 70 folks maybe attend that. I think we'll probably have close to 100 this year. I helped with the auction. We raised quite a bit of money for the Cowboy Crisis Fund. And that fund, just so our listeners know, is for cowboys that are injured, that help them cover the cost of those medical needs, but also there's some stipends involved as well with that, because they can't compete. They're on the sidelines and they have living expenses. And a good friend of mine who's a bullfighter benefited from the Cowboy Crisis Fund and had a stipend for a period of time when he was not able. He broke his leg and wasn't able to fight bulls, but a very, very important charity that the rodeo supports.
Yes, very good.
Yeah.
We also had a cornhole tournament that raised funds over Labor Day weekend. We hope to have that one again. We had our first annual last year, and just getting people out to enjoy some time together, have some fun, and for a good cause.
Yeah.
Always just a good thing to have on your books and plans to do.
Yeah. People wouldn't know that necessarily that the Prescott Frontier Days supports the junior rodeo, which is junior high school, and the high school rodeo with discounted rental rates and some of those kinds of things behind the scenes. Yeah. Yet it's very important for the Prescott Frontier Days board to do that, to ensure that those events can continue to happen. They probably couldn't happen if they were having to pay our normal rental rate.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so I think it's really important that folks know that Prescott Frontier Days supports in that way with those discounted rental rates. Those rodeos are coming up soon, Jason. I want to say, are they both in June?
May.
Oh, they're both in May. Okay.
May leading into June, yes.
Yeah, they're coming up really quick. And by the way, those are free events to the public.
That's right.
So we'd love to have you all show up for the junior rodeo and the high school finals rodeo in Prescott. It's a great rodeo to watch. A lot of good families there having a lot of fun, and it's a free event for the public to come and enjoy. So
a chance to see some future stars that might return and
that's right.
And win some buckles. Yes.
Yeah, that's right. So you helped Jim carry out a vision of improving the rodeo grounds, and there's a lot that's gone on in the last 3 years, more or less, at the rodeo grounds with improvements. You want to talk a little bit about some of those things that have been going on and kind of that vision that Jim set that you helped carry out?
Yes. Yeah. Jim had some very aggressive ideas about getting it ready quickly to, again, attract the contestants from the nation, bring them here internationally even, bring them here because we are oftentimes in competition with other July 4th rodeos. And the attraction would be to have the dirt right, have the arena nice and presentable. And, sometimes we deal with rain during the rodeo, and cowboys don't care, and attendees may or may not care, but we're going to have a rodeo in the rain, right? We've done it many times, and putting something on like that to prepare the ground, let's say, to prepare the ground for some excellent opportunities for contestants to come and show off their skills, because it really is a skill to be able to ride. I watched a show the other day called Diem, and it talks about Carpe Diem Seize the Day, where a pure amateur tried to figure out how to bronc ride, and it's not any easy thing. And you watch that show, and he's of course off in 3 seconds the first chance he got to get on there. And this is with all the training and all this stuff. He's trying to learn in 6 days, but these guys do this sometimes for a living and then come in and
they make it look easy.
They make it look easy, right? Part of that is, preparing the ground and keeping it ready for the competition to really happen. So part of that was getting the right dirt in the ground, getting the arena, like I said, new and shiny and cleaned up and ready to go. And then outside of that, it's the parking lot, having that freshly scraped and lines painted for parking, and all these pieces to the arrival of a attendee or a contestant, having it ready so that they can just go do what they're there to do. We do hope that families are enjoying the freshly painted benches and the midway walkway through the vendor area. That has to be, scraped and cleaned and everything. So the whole grounds of the Prescott Frontier Days Rodeo, we work very hard at getting it to not only look nice, be more presentable, because we don't want that to be a distraction from the event itself. People should be able to come, feel comfortable that they've been here before, not to, distract from times in the past, things like that they can come and just enjoy as a family what they're coming to see. And so there's been a lot of work put into from Jim's side, where it's garnering sponsorships that would trade, paint jobs or flooring cleanup or things like that for the use of the facilities, or Mike on our, tractor just going to work every day and getting the place cleaned up and nice. We've, gone as far as getting things from underground taken care of and hauled off so that we can really just get the land very nice and usable for the rodeo.
Yeah, very important. All those little things that you talked about to make sure the experience is exceptional for spectators and contestants alike. We want to attract the best cowboys and cowgirls to our rodeo, and we got to make sure their experience is a good one, as well as the spectators. So let's talk a little bit about a new thing Jim's working on right now for this year's rodeo. I love the name of this. It's called Exceptional Champions Rodeo. And, tell us a little bit about what this program is and who it serves and how it benefits those folks that are participating.
So this program is along the lines of exceptional and champion being kids that may not get the opportunity to work with horses in any other format or any other time. And this is kind of close to my heart, as I have special needs kids at home, and they have been through years of equine therapy, and it has done wonders for them to be able to get on horseback. It takes a lot of care to have the facility, have the means to get something like that set up. We have a few local agencies that have been doing it for many years. They've showed their skills at our rodeo prior to the rodeo itself. And in this case, it's to really just show what kids and horses can do for each other. Is really how I'd put it.
Right.
And it does, each can help each other. Of course, we've also heard the equine therapy to the level of helping military vets with PTSD and things of that nature. And there's just that piece of horses with kids and horses with people with special needs specifically, that is a bond that you can't address in any other way that I've seen. And so having kids with special needs, they need an exterior, a touch, a feel, that sort of way that they can experience more of life. To give them more of a drive even in what they go through daily. So
you mentioned your family. Tell our listeners how many children you have and kind of, how many you've adopted. Kind of give us color that in a little bit. So I have 8 kids, and we had a couple that have since passed on top of the 8. So I count 11 kids total, and we have 2 what we call home baked and 6 store bought. And so we have adopted at an early age, as my wife had issues with pregnancy with our biological kids. And when we started to adopt, we already had experience with special needs in the family, and caring for those kids with special needs came to us through our faith, of course. And
I don't think we would have the skills or the ability if we hadn't been brought to it or led to it by our Lord and Savior. And he had shared with us that just because this way I've said is not working for you doesn't mean I haven't found another way for you. So having kids with special needs, we've wanted to make sure that they were involved with everyday activity as much as possible, giving them the experiences that every kid could have. And what that means is, getting them to Disneyland at times, or other times making sure they're part of a baseball team here locally, and just not stopping at the level of their ability, but stopping more, or not even stopping, but just continuing to go through that and giving them the experiences that they otherwise may not have had.
Yeah. Thanks for doing that. Thanks to you and your wife for what you do with those kids.
We are very blessed. Yes.
11 children, 8 on earth and 3 in heaven.
That's right. That's right.
We always say we have 9 children, 8 on earth and 1 in heaven. And so you and I have that in common.
Yes, sir.
Exceptional Champions Rodeo. So I want our listeners to know that'll be happening at this year's rodeo. It's just launching. So I noticed on the website there wasn't anything just yet, but I know Jim's working on that, and look for that at this year's rodeo. If there are listeners out there who have kids that they would like to have as a participant, please contact our rodeo office. We'd love to get them plugged into that Exceptional Champions Rodeo. If you're out there and you'd like to support that effort, then please reach out to us again and let us know that you'd like to support that effort with Exceptional Champions Rodeo.
They don't necessarily have to ride horseback. They can do a lot of other things. We set up some roping dummies and things like that, or a little barrel to ride a bull type of thing. But there's usually lots of volunteers that help out with that to make sure kids can enjoy their time in the arena before a rodeo. Yeah,
I think what's special about that is these kids are now in the arena. And that's it's a special place to be there during the rodeo. But then, as you said, to have all these different types of experiences, we have any competency, any level can participate. Yep. We will cover it all there. Like you say, they don't have to be able to ride a horse to participate. Lots of different ways to participate with that. So excited about that.
And that's
kind of another under the category of We Rodeo, We Give, right?
Yes.
It's a way we can give back to our community. Earlier, you talked about tickets and you administer tickets, and I know it's a big task. I just want to make sure, I always try to take the opportunity to tell people where to get tickets because it's really important. So
yes.
Talk a little bit about that.
So the only place to get tickets is worldsoldestrodeo.com, and there's a buy tickets button on that page. The concern is that if you're buying it elsewhere, you're paying more than you should be paying. Our highest ticket dollar value per seat is $40. And we do have some higher grade seating at the Blue Moon Saloon, which is $100. And if you're paying any more than that per seat, then it is a resold ticket. So we do hope that you go to worldsoldestrodeo.com and click on the buy tickets button. That is the way to get it if you're doing it yourself. Otherwise, you can call our ticket line Monday through Friday, 10 to 3, and we have people at the ready to assist you with locating tickets for you.
And that number is?
928-445.
This is another edit.
Yeah, sorry. I knew you were going to ask too.
Yeah, I could tell your eyes are rolling back like, oh,
yeah,
no.
Craig, don't ask him.
Don't ask me what that number is. I'm going to ask you again when you get it.
All right.
And that number is?
The number is 928-445-4320.
Yep. So you can call there. And you said those hours were
10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Monday through Friday.
Yep.
Through rodeo.
And you can come into the ticket office if you're more comfortable doing that, right? And
that's right.
The ladies there will help you get some tickets right there at the rodeo office.
Yes, that's right.
Tickets are going pretty fast. I know there was a little bit of confusion this year, and we do apologize again. We went with a new ticket vendor.
Yes.
Because of some of the fraud and some of the things going on. We wanted to make sure that didn't happen again. So we have a much better company that's administering that for us. And we have more sponsors than ever. And
Yes.
we do reserve some seats for those sponsors, which helps keep the price of the tickets down, right? You mentioned
Exactly, yes.
the high end is $40, but that's largely due to the fact that we have so many great sponsors
Right.
that support the rodeo that help us keep those tickets attainable. And then we also have Courier Night, which is the first night, July 1st, and the Courier subsidizes those tickets as well.
Yep.
And that should be coming out in the newspaper. They usually do that in June maybe or late May.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. They'll be coming up in May. Yep.
Yeah. So very good. Make sure you get your tickets because they're going fast. Jason, during the rodeo, I know you're crazy busy. I see you in your office counting money and helping cashiers and answering 100 questions and you're kind of the point person for police and fire that's on site to make sure that everyone's safe and has the kind of care that they need. Do you have any story that you'd like to share with us about one of your experiences during the rodeo that could be funny or it could be very meaningful?
So maybe the importance of having good communication, as we heard that there was a trailer turned over, a horse running loose, and somebody in the stands all at the same time that was losing their lunch, let's say. So having all three of those things come in at the same time, you have to figure out which one person to dispatch where, or if you have to run there yourself to verify that the information's accurate.
It's a triage.
And so as rodeo goes, it's not the only activity in the arena. It can be activity around the arena. We strive to have, again, an excellent experience for everybody involved. I personally don't think there's a bad seat in the house. So you're there with the atmosphere of rodeo, with the crowd is a part of it. As you know, we've had many comments from our contract personnel, which is the guys like the bullfighters that are down on the ground, making sure the bull isn't attacking the rider before, and the barrelman and the clown, things like that. The announcers, everybody that's mentioned, there's just not a crowd like the one at the World's Oldest Rodeo. And all of that being said, I was very glad to hear that the contract personnel feel that way, and our crowd does fit the bill. They are very much into the atmosphere, the rodeo celebration. It really is a celebration of the year, and just being able to be outside. As we went through COVID, the year that we were told maybe have to perform at 25% capacity. In the end, we're able to go to about 50% capacity. We still had many people come out, and we're just so grateful to be outside and a part of the whole experience of all of it. And so, like I said, I don't think there's a bad seat in the house. You could be walking around anytime. I've talked to many people about that we don't require you sitting in your seat the entire 2.5 hours that Jim Dewey would like to have set up there. But we would want you to see what's happening in the arena, but that is not all that's going on at the rodeo. And so back to the experience of tracking down if a trailer really is turned over and this horse is really loose and are they losing the lunch and how can we get them help? So medic over here and, maybe a tractor over there and things of that nature. But we have a great relationship with the Prescott Fire Department, Prescott Police as well, that they do support us and they love having us there. We love having them there, of course. And it seems to go smoother and smoother every year as we kind of iron those problems out, getting the communication, down and like you said, triage. It's definitely part of the gig.
Have you ever watched the rodeo?
So I heard that it's streaming on Cowboy Channel, and we've tried. So a few years back when we had our counting cash room in a little pocket of the facility. And we thought, this rodeo is happening very loudly just a little bit, down the road here. And we're across the road and tucked behind in a corner. We thought, man, it sure would be nice to just put a TV up and be able to watch what's happening over there while we're waiting for cash bags to come in or somebody needs something, And so now we've kind of shifted and made that countdown room, as part of our offices. And so we can have a TV nearby and maybe watch some of the rodeo. But yeah, it's a snippet here and there. Sometimes I do get to walk around to kind of monitor how things are going, and sometimes get caught, at the prayer. So you get to pray down with everybody, and definitely have to go and see the helicopter come in when it brings the flag in and stuff. So yeah, that's good stuff. But bits and pieces.
Yeah. On a monitor in a cash counting room.
That's right. That's right.
Funny. So, we have a great partnership with the city of Prescott. You talked about police and fire, with a great relationship there. They're always willing to help and make sure everybody's safe and cared for. But, the city of Prescott's really done a great job of supporting us financially and in kind of some in-kind ways that people wouldn't know about.
That's right. They, in many cases, have been able to help us figure out means to take care of the grounds, take care of it even further beyond what we may have planned, as far as getting the cleanup done in a timely manner, getting things hauled off in a manner that might cost less for the city as well as us, not to be too cost prohibitive or things of that nature. So, the city's been very good about communicating with us and making sure that we are on the same page of taking care of not only the facility, but everybody that comes onto it.
Yeah.
Providing the means to allow people to bring their dogs and play catch in a wide open field when we're not having a rodeo going on.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that's good. So events throughout the year, I mean, I know right now we're kind of pointing towards the junior rodeo, the high school rodeo, and then the world's oldest rodeo. But beyond that, then you're busy helping like with the fair that will be coming in September after the rodeo, as well as Equifest and the Legacy Horse Sale. And it kind of doesn't really stop until through September, right?
That's right. Yeah. September is a really big month for us as well. Last year, August was bigger than we expected to have. We have a lot of private party rentals, things were like quinceañeras or weddings at times, memorials. We take care of a lot of memorials, which, as you know, usually are last minute. Nobody plans for that much further down the road. But we're ready to be able to handle larger groups than would be able to go to a house or things like that. And with the facilities that we have, we're able to provide more than just a room. They can count on beverages being sold for the parties that are there, a pretty good dance floor in our Freeman building, that type of thing. So it can be a celebration, can be many different things that we're capable of handling on a regular basis, and do so throughout the months.
Yeah. Pretty busy for except maybe 2 or 3 months through the year, right?
That's true. Yeah. When I find those 2 months, I'll let you know.
Yeah. That's when we sleep. So, you take care of all the cash. We heard that and all the cashiers. So during the world's oldest rodeo, how many bars do you have open?
That's a good question. We have 9 minimum that are open, and that can flex to be, I believe, 11 total. Yeah, around the campus. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a lot of cash, a lot of cashiers.
That is. Yeah.
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 Good. Anything else you can think of that we missed here today?
There is one piece that, as I understand it, there's 3, maybe even 4 components to putting on a rodeo. And as I've talked to many people in trying to explain kind of how the decision-making skills go through this, the 3 major components are sponsorship, contestants, and attendees. And to keep all of those levels balanced is really the challenge. Having enough sponsors to put on a high quality rodeo that attracts contestants because the purse is the right amount and it's attractive for them to come out of a circuit that they may have been able to go to where they can hit 3 rodeos in a week as opposed to coming down to Arizona for the one. We do tie in with is it Rodeo de Santa Fe, I believe, because they're the weekend before. And so trying to be a part of that circuit for the contestants. And then, of course, the attendees. If we don't have attendees watching the rodeo, there's not the excitement around it. It doesn't draw the attention of Cowboy Channel to want to put it out there for others that may not be able to make the travel. And so keeping all of those components happy, balanced, filled up and putting on a good rodeo throughout the year is really the challenge. And doing our best to make sure that each of those components or parties are happy with how they've received the experience that we're trying to provide, or how they share that experience, because we ultimately want more people to experience this Western lifestyle that we love and have grown to love. I haven't been around horses my whole life. It's been more of a recent thing. And that goes back to the junior ambassadors. Sometimes we don't know at junior and senior level what we're going to do with the rest of our life.
Right.
And to have a taste of what there is available in the business of rodeo, in the surrounding activities of rodeo. You may have a guy that really loves to be in the dirt all the time. And you may have a guy that wants to be in the dirt some of the time and count cash the other time, So just being able to give more people the full experience of rodeo, the all around atmosphere of it, the all around beauty of it, really, just trying to let them experience more of what we love.
Yeah, very good. You mentioned the purse. What is the payout for cowboys and cowgirls at our rodeo like last year?
So last year's total was $348,000 plus, and we do attempt to exceed that each year, as again to draw the contestants in. If you don't have a contestants, you're not really putting on a rodeo. And but those 3 components, being balanced like that, the purse is a big part of that. So to build those funds, you do need high dollar sponsors coming in that in turn get advertising, in turn get the means to be in front of our 4,000 guests each performance, 32,000 guests for the week. And it is valuable to them, as Prescott has made the world's oldest rodeo a very important part of their culture.
Yeah, the sponsors are pretty amazing in our Quad City area here, and actually statewide for that matter. Jim's done a great job of attracting those sponsors, but we have some very loyal sponsors and people that love the rodeo. And I think in many cases, they just want to support that community tradition as much as it's more for them about that than it even is the advertisement or the benefits they get. They just want to make sure that this rodeo continues.
Exactly. And share it with as many people as they can. Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you for being on today. Thanks for what you do behind the scenes. You're a very, very important part of our team there at Prescott Frontier Days, and what you do is very important.
Thank you.
And
I appreciate
I'm glad we got a little opportunity to showcase that to our listeners today, so they can better understand kind of behind the scenes what goes on at Prescott Frontier Days and the world's oldest rodeo. And I especially want to thank you for your role as a dad.
Thank you.
And taking care of those kids, really, really important. So
you as well.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much for tuning in to Ride With Us podcast. This is Greg Mingarelli and signing off.